Help me out, read off, open up your books, page 31. Some of you, I'm gonna have to start making these little quizzes, make them count a little more, because I don't think you guys are taking them seriously a lot of times. Everybody else do them.
Find the percentage.
Find the percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So, somebody read one of them to me.
27, 54.
What's of mean in math? Of. Let's go through some things. What's is mean in math? Equals. Alright, does everybody know that? So when you're reading these word problems, a lot of the problems that we do in here are going to be word problems. When you're reading them, you got to know what these words mean. Is means equals. What's sum? S-U-M. Addition. What's difference? Subtraction. What's let's see what there's some other words. Quotient. What's quotient? Division. Now let's go back to of. What's of?
Times?
Times. So each one of these, what are you doing?
Times in them?
You're timesing them. If you have a percentage, I don't know, I'm just making up a percent. If you have a percentage, before you can times it, what do you have to do to that percent? Make it a decimal, right? How do you change this percent into a decimal?
By putting 0. Putting the decimal at the front?
Where's the decimal start at?
At the back?
Alright, if there's not one shown, it's right here. And whenever you're changing a percent to a decimal, you always bump it how many places? 2 places. Please remember that, because what Seth said a second ago was sort of right, but not always right. Because if I had this as my decimal, and we're going to do a whole lot of decimals like this throughout the year, 2.5%. Do I just move the decimal to right there? No, you move it how many places? And what's got to fill that empty space? So it's 0.025. So make sure 2 places every time. Now let's look at the first one. Have your calculators out so you can help me. This is going to save you, Keith. You better be answering questions back there, because this is going to save you from coming up here. All right?
Yeah.
So what's the first one say?
20%.
20% of 54. What do you got to do to the percentage?
Move out the decimal 2 spots.
So what's it become?
10.8.
Now what's the the percentage become?
0.20.
0.20, or you could just put 0.2. It's the same thing. What's of mean? Times, and then 54. When you multiply that, what do you come up with? 10.8. Now, as you're doing this, because it's apparent, looking around the room at a bunch of my red calculators that everybody has, and I've been asking for 2 or 3 weeks now to get one, it's apparent, if I can't get you to get a calculator, you're probably not going to have one when you go into a store somewhere. Alright? So when I walk into a store, and my wife's looking at something that's $54, and it's 20% off, you should be able to do that in your head. Alright? I'm not saying that you should be able to do everything in your head, Hunter. But you should be able to do some things in your head, basic things, to try to figure out, hey, if I buy this $54 item and it's 20% off, how much is it going to cost me? That way people like Ebersole aren't standing in line behind you and you don't have enough money to pay for it and you thought you did, and then I got to cuss and be upset with you. Because I go into Walmart all the time and it just kills me. Somebody handing the cashier this, well, see how much this is? No, I don't want it, set it off. And the cashier's got to go back and take it off the thing. See how much this is? That's a bunch of crap. If you can't figure it out yourself, then go live in your little hole and get out of there. Alright? You should be able to do this stuff. When I look at this, and I'm gonna teach you little tricks to try to help you. When I look at this, when my wife asks me, because she can't do it either, she should stay at home. When she asks me, how much is this gonna cost me? I know 20% is double what? 10%. 10% is easy to deal with. Because to figure out 10% of something, all you have to do is move the decimal one place to the left. So what's 10% of 54? Where's the decimal start at on the 54? Where's it start at? Right here, right? So 10% of 54, we just bump it over there. So it'd be $5.40. Okay? So if it was 10%, you would get $5.40 off. If it's 20%, you're gonna get double that off. So $10.80.
Oh, it was 30% off, we'll get
20. And you could do that. And that's what I do when my wife asks me something like this. Well, all right, how much is this going to cost us when we get up there? You know, if they say, oh, it's 20% off, it's 25% off, it's 30% off. Now, there's times where, and it's not as bad as it used to be. It used to be they tried to trick everybody. Now they just take it for granted that nobody can do it in their head, so it doesn't make any difference. There's times when they'll do stuff like 1/4 off. And then you gotta change that fraction into a percentage and then figure it out from there. Alright? So, but that's all stuff that you should be able to get some idea. If I'm going up there and this item costs $54, and I wouldn't tell my wife, oh, it's $10.80 off. If it's 20% off of 54, I just say it's about $10 off. $10 or $11 is what you're gonna say. So it's gonna cost you about $43. Alright? I'm not gonna tell her exactly. I'm not gonna sit there, I'm not some, what, a Beautiful Mind or whatever, one of those movies where the guy could figure everything out in his head. That's not me. Alright? If you wanna see people like that, you watch those people that play poker. They sit there and they figure out the odds and how much money they're betting and how it fits. Alright, if I'm betting this much money, is that worth the odds I'm getting? So they figure all those percentages, what's my percentage chance of winning here? They figure all that out in their head. If you ever watch those poker shows, you'll see them and they'll go, yeah, Joe here dropped out of Princeton to become a poker pro. He was majoring in math and computers or something. Those guys are very, very intelligent, most of them. Now you get some of them that are just idiots and get lucky to get to where they're at. And you see them once and then you never see them again because they got lucky the first time they got there. The other guys that you see all the time are the guys that can figure this stuff up in their head. So you should be able to go into a store and look at something and decide. And most stores now they're not trying to trick you. They just figure that, all right, if they can figure it out, that's great. And you can tell about how much something should cost you. Don't go up front and have Ebersole waiting behind you going, oh my God, I don't wanna. Know how much it is, all right? So if you walk in the store and it's 20% off of 54 and you only got $40 in your pocket, what do you know? You don't have enough. Don't walk up there and make the cashier do extra work to decide, hey, you don't have enough money. What's the next one say?
42% of 335?
So let's try this. 42%?
Yeah.
335? So we just bought a grill. If few weeks ago. And it was something about like this. It was like 26% or 28% off or something. So it wasn't something that was exactly 20% or 10% or anything. So it was a little harder for me to figure out in my head. But if I had this, I would do the same thing. What's 10% of $335? $33.50. $33.50. Everybody see that? 40% is about how many times bigger than that? 4 times. So if I was doing it in my head for my wife, I'd just say 33 times 4. And I probably wouldn't even do 33 times 4. I'd probably round that 33 off to about 30. And I'd say, all right, what's 30 times 4? 120. So we're going to save about $120. That's what I would have told her. All right, it's going to be, you're going to save about $120, so it's going to cost us about $215. All right. Now, on your calculator, help me out. We bumped this over 2 places. That's 0.42. Of means times 335.
140.7.
When I told her $120, was that fairly close? Yeah. All right, so that'd give us a good idea. How much are we paying for this grill at that point? Jumping down to the ones below, 15 through 21 or whatever. Notice this time now we're dealing with money, right? So they said round it off to the nearest cent. In other words, every time you're dealing with money, how many decimal places? 2 places every single time, no matter what. What's the first one say?
5.5%, 60.
Now, if I'm doing this, 5.5% of $60. 5.5%, that's less than 10%. What would 10% of $60 be? $6. So if it was 10%, it'd be $6. Well, 5.5%, again, if I'm just getting something in my head, not getting an exact answer here, if I'm not going to carry a calculator around with me, not getting an exact answer, 5% is about what part of 10%? Half. So what's half of $6? So 5.5% should be somewhere close to $3. What do we do with the decimal here again? 2 places, not 1, 2, and you got to fill that in with a 0. So on your calculator, what's 0.055 times 60? 3.3. What are we going to do with that? Put a 0. So it's $3 and when I said estimating $3, was I pretty close? Yeah. Be able to do stuff like that, just, you shouldn't have to have a calculator with you all the time. You should be able to have some idea. On the homework, questions, problems you want to see worked off a page, what was it, 104 and 107, is that right? Help Aiden out here, he had a rough night. 104, 107, any problems you want to see worked? All easy stuff? Again, those of you who have been out, make sure you get your stuff into me. You notice I'm trying to keep Moodle caught up, so.
Can we do some of that time card stuff?
The time card ones?
Yeah.
Yep, pick me one.
Yeah.
That's on 104, right?
Yeah, 7.
Number 7.
Yeah.
Page 104, number 7. Again, I don't know that you'll ever have an actual time card, because most everything's on computers now. The one thing I would say, if I was you and I was getting a job, you know, here I'm paid by salary, and we're gonna talk about that today. But if I was getting a job somewhere where I work by the hour, I would keep track of my hours. I wouldn't trust any computer ever in my life to keep track of my hours and just say, oh, they gotta be right. Because when that company screws up and they pay you for 30 hours instead of 40 hours, you think they're gonna rush back and fix it for you? Not unless you realize it. They're not gonna realize it. They're not gonna care. They saved them money. Now, if they pay you for 50 hours instead of 40 hours, think they're gonna figure that out? Oh, yeah. So, just to tell you, Elijah, when that company screws up and you get that extra $1,000 in your check for whatever reason, and you think, all right, I'm blowing it this weekend, and you go out and you spend it all, guess what they're gonna do within a week or so? They're gonna want their money back.
No, we don't speak English.
Yeah.
I don't speak English.
Looking at number 7. You go from 8:25 to 1:15. How are we gonna count that up, our hours? Where do we start? You start at 8:25, what's the first thing you're gonna count at? 9:25, 10:25, 11:25, 12:25. Now, if we went to 1:25, it'd be 5 hours, wouldn't it? But we didn't go to 1:25, we were actually 10 minutes short of that, right? So what's 10 minutes short of another hour? 50 minutes, so 4 hours and 50 minutes, can I just write it that way? Do I need the hours and minutes in there? Ignore that, hours and minutes. So that's what we worked the first part of the day, then we clocked out to go eat our lunch or whatever. And we went from 1:50 to 5:30. So we start at 1:50, first thing we count is what? Do we count 150? 250, 350, 450. Now, we don't go to 550, do we? So we got 3 hours, and we only go till 5:15. So we're at 450. On 5:30, did we go to that?
Yeah.
Is that right? All right, so let's go. So that'd almost be 4 hours, but how many minutes short of 4 hours are we? 20. What's 20 out of that 60 then? 40. So 3 hours and 40 minutes. We can add those together, ignore my stray marks there. What's 4 hours and 3 hours give us? 50 minutes and 40 minutes? 90 minutes. 90 minutes is an hour and a half, so we're gonna carry a 1 over here to this. What's that make that 7? 8 hours. And we took 60 out of this, so how much is left? So 8 hours and 30 minutes, or if we wanted to write it as a decimal, what would it be? 8.30, is that right? Think about it now. 30 minutes is what part of an hour? 0.5. It's 8.5 hours. Make sure you don't do that, just like with our rulers and stuff. Is our time based on 10s? No, our time is based on what? 60s. So we can't just put a decimal in there. You got to think about, all right, 30 minutes means 0.5 of an hour. So 8 hours and 30 minutes, or 8.5 hours, 8.5. Count it up, so Kylie, you're doing it. Count it up on your fingers. When we take a test next week over this stuff, at some point I probably should see Allie sitting back there going, right? Nothing wrong with it. what we're gonna cover today, go ahead and get out something to write down, a few things here. We're gonna go real quick. Salary and commission. Salary and commission. If you don't work per hour, you may work getting paid salary, you may work getting paid commission. A lot of places now don't pay on commission anymore.
I get hourly and commission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably a like a hybrid kind of setup. So you get paid a certain amount hourly, and then you get your commission on top of that. We talked a little, I think that one day, didn't we talk about real estate, selling real estate, and how they get paid just commission? A lot of them get paid only commission. Me, I work here, I don't get paid by the hour, I get paid salary. So, just depends on what job you have. Used to be, and I think this has changed a lot, used to be if you were a waiter or waitress in a restaurant, you got paid just your tips, and then you got paid a small hourly fee. I think they've jacked that up a bunch now because people like Ebersole are stingy and don't leave a whole real good tips. So they made it so that people who actually do those jobs can make a living. It's not really a commission, but sort of. Car dealerships, most car dealerships don't do this anymore. Used to be that car dealerships, the salespeople were paid on commission, and you guys aren't old enough, but when I first started buying cars, you'd pull onto the car lot,
And they come running out.
they'd be all over you. I mean, they were on you right away. Now, you pull onto a car lot,
You can't find
and
nobody.
they're all sitting inside talking or sitting out on the edge smoking a cigarette or something, and nobody wants to come and help you. You gotta go look for them. And that's because they don't get paid on commission anymore. All right, different salaries, and these things right here, very important for the entire year. We're gonna use them all year long. Somebody mentioned them here a few days ago. Again, when we go to take this test next week, Hunter knows that he's gonna probably be allowed to use what? Calculator, what else? Notes. So keep good notes, put them in a binder somewhere. All those formulas. I know Keith doesn't need it because he's got them all memorized, but because that's the way Keith is, he just memorizes everything right away. Landon doesn't need it, he gets it through osmosis every time he's laying at home in bed when we're doing class.
Teleports.
He's got that magic pillow, the Ebersole pillow where the knowledge just seeps through the pillow into your brain, right, Landon?
Yep.
I'm sorry, Landon, I think I said I was gonna quit messing with you, didn't I? I will at some point.
Did you say that?
Thought I did. Maybe I was somebody else. Maybe I said I was gonna quit messing with them and start messing with you because
Cause he's not here.
it was probably Hunter. Hunter
I think
probably
it
said-
was Hunter.
I think it actually was him.
Hunter probably said, Landon does it more than I am. Or it might have been Tate up here, I don't know.
They just battling sleeping.
Had a 5-day week this week, it's just horrible, isn't it? I think after this year, you only got like 65 65 or 70 more years of getting up every day and going to work.
It's like,
Cause it's like,
That's why one of your friends that's in this class is back in here, isn't it? And that way you guys told me that, because he doesn't want to get out. So does that mean Peyton, am I gonna see a whole bunch of these guys back in here next year because they don't want to
No.
grow up and be,
No.
God, live on the.
I didn't consent to be here.
I didn't consent to be
Maybe
born
we should
here.
I didn't wanna be tired, but life and logic is just letting it happen.
Countdown until somebody puts that in their butt and says, get out of here. It's either you're in school finishing up or not my house. I don't care how much you think your mom and dad love you. Once I graduated college, I was working 2 jobs. I'd come home from, I worked second shift, second or third at the tire factory up there in Greenville. And then I also worked at McDonald's and other places as a second job. So every time I come home, second or third shift, whichever one it was, my mom would have the newspaper laying on the table right as I walked in the door. And it would have circled apartments, places to live.
Man, you must've been a bad kid growing up.
I was working 2 jobs at the time, paying rent.
Dang, that's my kid.
Okay. She loved me, but she just thought, hey, it's time for you to,
How old
What?
were you?
I just graduated college, 21.
Oh, never mind.
I was gonna say, work straight out of high school.
Just graduated college.
Parents are done, we had a savings.
Yeah, when I graduated, I split up home for another 2 years.
Not a bad idea.
Thanks for all the news.
I got, my oldest son still lives at home. He's pretty old now, 27 or something.
Yeah, that's old, yeah.
And-
That's
Remember when I was
Turn the
27?
newspaper on.
Yeah, he wants to move out, there's been a couple times, and it doesn't bother me. No reason for him to move out.
Well, that's, I guess never saw him, but then. Oh, yeah, it was just. We'll do it when we get to.
You can, I'll tell you, you come over, you can live with me, and you'll, for your rent, you can help me finish out my basement. We'll
Got a
go
garage.
bedroom down there.
Sweet. Big garage.
Gets kicked out.
You got a big farm.
Just throwing them in the grand.
I was
Right up there, over here, school.
I was just working it, just all week long, my barn's been taken up, cause my nephew's truck's been in it, tore down.
I don't know about that.
I was like, this desk is weird.
I do, it makes it easy to go to sleep.
Salary, a salary is a fixed amount of money earned on a regular basis. I earn a salary here, and we used to get paid bi-weekly. About 10 years ago, 12 years ago though, they switched it up to semi-monthly. All right, let's run through these and then we'll go back and talk about that. Weekly, if you get paid weekly, that means you get 52 pays per year. All of these are per year. So you get 52 pays per year if you get paid weekly. If you get paid bi-weekly, what's bi-weekly mean?
Every other week.
Every other week, every 2 weeks. All right, if you get paid bi-weekly, then you get 26 pays per year. If you get paid semi-monthly, anybody have any idea what semi-monthly means?
Every month.
Every half month.
Sort of. All right, so I get paid, right now I get paid on the 15th and the 30th of every month. That's when our checks come out, all right? And what that is you get paid twice a month. okay? And again, we'll come back and talk about those two. Monthly, how many pays you gonna get in a year if you get paid monthly? 12. And semi-annually, if you only get paid semi-annually, how many times you get paid in a year?
Every
Twice,
6 months.
every 6 months. Alright? Right, something like that, who knows? And then annually you get paid once a year. I think the President of the United States actually gets paid once a year. They give him one payment and that's it. And that's what he makes for the year. Most jobs, you're probably not gonna find a job where you get paid semi-annually or annually. Most of you, well, I shouldn't say that because Bo's probably gonna grow up and be the President of the United States. And then I'll have to eat my words. So I lied to
Bo
them.
Maximus for president.
I have to call Hunter and say, Hunter, I'm sorry, I lied to you, because Bo is getting paid annually now, and I have to call everybody that was in this class and tell them.
You're not gonna be worried?
You wouldn't have to call me, I'll be in your basement.
You probably like my basement too, I got, let's see, my son's got a great big weight set down there. I got 2 pinball machines, slot machine, pool table.
You guys never leave our basement.
You're making me roll.
Trying to think what else they call it, foosball table.
Yeah, no, you can't leave it.
Party at Ebersole.
What else is down there? Ping pong table, air hockey table. Air hockey table doesn't work
Oh,
very
is it
well.
like a warehouse down there?
Huh?
Is that like a warehouse down there? 'Cause like my basement felt like maybe 4 boxes.
Let's see, my basement's probably about 2,400 square feet.
My basement holds more water than storage.
Say mine though. No water, no leaks.
Yeah.
Oh, my projector. That's you.
I mean, a big screen.
The only bad thing is you, like, Ohio State football weekends like this weekend, you gotta go somewhere else. 'Cause then my family takes over. My brothers all come over and stuff.
I'm sorry, I don't watch football.
What else do we have down there? Oh, no, dartboard. He's got electronic drums down there.
I'm trying to drum.
Drums.
Drum.
In the barn, he's got real drums and old guitar amps and everything, which he's starting to get on my nerves over the day that, all right, you can't have this many things, you got about 20 guitars.
Yeah, I think Adam would be happy in your basement.
Speaking of darts, you know, the last time I touched a dart, I didn't mind my foot.
That's
Right in my big toe.
contagious, folks. No sharp things now, Paige. No, touch
Don't
sharp
run with the
things.
scissors.
Okay, I'm going to this one.
I don't sprint with scissors.
Bi-weekly and semi-monthly, just talking, going back to this, the school changed about, like I said, 10, 12 years ago. The school changed from paying us bi-weekly to semi-monthly. A lot of the teachers, not a lot of them, but some of them were really upset. Mr. Wendell was one of them. All right?
Mr. Williams was looking for something to be upset.
Because when you get paid bi-weekly,
As long as he has his croutons and Pepsi and Coke.
when you get paid bi-weekly, sometimes, not only do you get 2 checks per month, sometimes you get 3 checks per month. And if you're budgeting, and like your first check maybe goes towards your car payment and your mortgage, your second check goes towards your, all the other bills each month. Well, if you get a 3rd check, it's like a free bunch of money. Now, it doesn't really work that way, and mathematically, no matter if I get, how I get paid, I'm getting the same amount of money over the whole year, because I make the same salary, that didn't change. So, but they were mad because that 3rd check, and it happened, I think it happens like 2 or 3 times a year, when you get that 3rd check in a month. So they were upset about that. why do you think the schools switched from bi-weekly, where you get 26 pays, to semi-monthly, where they only have to pay us 24 times?
Less checks to go to.
Exactly. When you're paying somebody, and most companies, that's what they do, they pay somebody else to write the checks for them. Alright, when I get a check, it's not actually, there's not somebody downstairs writing out Ebersole's check anymore. It doesn't work that way. Alright, if you work at McDonald's, McDonald's doesn't actually write out your boss doesn't sit there and write your check out. It goes through some company, and then the company ships the checks in. Factories are all that way, alright? So, if they only have to pay, there's like 70-some teachers here, National Trail. If they only have to pay that company for 24 checks for each of those 70-some teachers, instead of 26, they save money. Okay? So that's why now we get paid semi-monthly. They get paid on the 15th and the 30th. Some places that pay semi-monthly go like the 1st and the 15th. Just depends. Most students, and I'm pretty proud of you guys because I haven't heard anybody say this yet, but every year I've taught this class, everybody says, I can't stand it, I've got to get paid weekly because otherwise I run out of money. You're getting the same money. You just got to learn that, hey, I get paid on Friday, and I don't get paid for two more Fridays. I can't go out and blow my whole check Saturday. So it's not any different. You just got to have a little self-control. Again, these are going to be important. We're going to use them all year long. Tom is a web designer. His annual salary is $64,000. Have your calculators out so you can help me again with this. $64,400. What is Tom's monthly salary? How much would he get paid per month if this is his salary for the whole year? What would you do there to figure that out?
You take that divided by 12, you would get
5,300.
So divide by 12, and what is it?
5, 3, 3, 3, and 3.
All right, let's talk about this real quick. That's per month. That's one of the answers. What's going to happen at the end of the year? Put this number in your calculator and times it by 12. Did it come out to 64,400?
63,000.
What did it come out to? 64,000 what?
96.
It came up to 63,900.
63,999.96.
Let's go back and try this again. What was 64,400 divided by 12? What is it?
55,366.
Oh, 0.66. Is
Well,
that,
I just did 64,000.
is that right? Now times that by 12. Did it come out exactly 64,400? Yeah, if you didn't erase what you had on your calculator before. It came out like a penny short or something, didn't it? All right? Does that mean Tom's getting screwed that penny? Now, probably his last check, instead of paying him 66 cents, the company's gonna pay him what? 67 cents. They're gonna give him that extra penny. How much is he gonna make if he gets paid weekly? What would you divide that by? How many weeks in a year?
52.
Might do that for us.
1,230.
1,230.76. Is that right? Is that right?
I think I used 64,064.
I got 1,000, or 12, yeah, 1,238.
0.46. Does that sound better?
That's right.
Don't be afraid, because we're punching it in calculators. Hunter, are people gonna punch it in the calculator wrong? Yeah, I guarantee every time we do a problem in here, somebody's punched it in wrong. So don't be afraid if you get something different,
Some of this one's good.
Tell us. Your current job as a wedding planner pays a monthly gross salary of $2,560. You're offered a new position as an event planner that pays $12.60 per hour with time and a half for hours over 40. How many hours of overtime per week would you need to work to earn the same as your current job? Stuff like this. Very important. You guys are going out and getting jobs here soon and gonna have to start working probably. Stuff like this, very important. You gotta know, hey, right now I'm making this. If I go take this other job, am I gonna be better off or worse off? You gotta be able to figure this out. So monthly, this person makes $25.60. Let's take that because I don't like dealing with monthly stuff. What's it gonna be easier to look at? You like, again, most students or most people like getting paid how? Weekly. How many weeks in a month? 4. So somebody divide that by 4 for us. 640? That's per week. So that's about what we make per week right now at the job that we have. We're looking at this new position where we're gonna work 40 hours a week plus any overtime hours, and we get paid $12.60 per hour. And we wanna see, all right, are we making better at what we're doing now, or do we need to change and get this new job? So $12.60 per hour, and we did this already in one of the other sections. How are we gonna figure out how much we make in a 40-hour week? So $12.60 times 40. 500 and what? 4. 504, everybody agree with that? So if we just work 40 hours, is this new job gonna benefit us? No, we're losing about $135 or so. Alright? And that's why it asks, how many hours of overtime per week are we gonna need to work to figure this out, or to make as much or more money? How are we gonna figure that out if we make time and a half? What do we gotta do with that $12.60 again? We did this earlier, this chapter also. Times it by what? 1.5. Somebody do that for us. Ignore my stray marks going up through there. 18.9. So $18.90. What are we gonna do now to, how can we figure out how much more or how many overtime hours
Would you take that 640 and subtract that 505 and whatever that number is?
504?
Yeah, divide it by,
Slow down. So let's do that. 640 minus 504. 136. So we're losing $136. That's the money we need to make up by working the overtime. What do we do with that $136?
divided by the overtime pay.
Divided by 1890. That's going to tell us how many hours we need to work to get back to this pay. What does it come out to be? Say it again. 7 point. That, is that right? So 7.1, so if this is hours, we're actually gonna have to work how many hours? 8 hours. 8 hours of overtime, so we'll have to work 48 hours a week to make what we're making right now. And that's, you gotta be able to decide, okay, how many hours am I working now for the $25.60 per month? You know, if you're working 60 hours a week anyway, going to this new job might make sense, because now you're only working 48 hours, making the same money. Just depends on how many hours you're working right now on the salary. All right, commission. Couple of things here, write these down. with me? You don't seem like it. Alright, commission rate is a set amount of money or a percentage of sales. Sometimes you'll get paid if you sell, you work at some place and you sell an idget, you might get paid $10 for every idget you sell. It'll be a set amount. Or maybe you work at a car dealership and you get paid percentage of sales.
Yeah, 'cause wasn't it like you stop or you could,
Right.
so
So the better, the higher price car you sell, the better off for that person. Now, I will say this, I think some of those people still do make commission. When my wife was looking to buy her car, it's been several years now, but when she was looking to buy her car, she's talking to the people and I'm out walking around, just looking around, not paying any attention. And there was some kind of SUV, and it was about, I want to say it was like $180,000 or something. And some crazy,
usually for Ebersole or
yeah, we were at a high dollar place, yes. And, I was standing there looking at it and reading the tag on it and everything, and then the people ran up to me. So apparently, maybe if you sell something like that, you get
Pretty good then.
a commission. You don't just get paid your regular. And the guy came running out to me and I asked him, okay, on the sticker, because this SUV was, most of the stickers now, and we'll talk about this later on in the year, but most of the stickers will have like the fuel economy rating on it. And the fuel economy rating on this SUV was like a -10 point something. So a normal car, like a mid-sized car, fuel economy rating is like 7 or something like that. This one had a -10. And I'm like, how in the world can they sell something like that? I'm asking guys, how can they sell something like this that has such a low fuel economy rating on it?
We have Mercedes.
We were at a high dollar place, yes. And, he goes, yeah, I know, and I said, what I asked him? He goes, you want me to start it up for you? And I said, I'll take it for a drive if you'll let me. He just laughed at me. He said, no, we're not allowed to let you test drive these. But then we walked inside and I looked at his Hellcat and whatever the other one is. I said, how about this one? You let me test drive this one? He goes, no.
So Ebersole bought it, showed him who was the boss.
No, that didn't happen. So commission, set amount of money, could be just, you make $10 per whatever, or it could be a percentage. Straight commission, the only pay you make, Bo was saying that he doesn't just make straight commission, you got a salary, or a hourly pay and a commission. Straight commission is where all you make is how much you sell. Right? So a lot of furniture stores, I think, still pay commission. Because if you walk into a furniture store, those people still run up and, what are you looking for, Dave? What can we help you with? And so they're still making commission. Whether they get paid, like Bo said, they get, a salary, hourly pay and plus sales on top of it, or if they just get paid a percentage of their sales, that I don't know. You'd have to find out. Sometimes you get a minimum salary. If you're working on commission, a lot of times they'll say, we're gonna pay you $300 per week plus whatever. So your minimum salary, if I go sit and just sit in the break room and do nothing all week long, I still get paid that $300 per week, at least for a week or two until they fire me. Because that's usually what's gonna happen is, hey, if you're not doing your job, then Now, unless you work at Walmart, I watch those people. I swear to goodness, I was in Walmart the other day, and there was a younger kid, and I watched him walk out of that door that goes into the back 10 times in the 10 minutes I was in there. And I think, all right, I wanted to stop him and say, you're not fooling anybody, man. Everybody knows that all you're doing is wasting time, not doing the job. Go find somewhere to hide.
Be fucking dry.
I don't know, there's a lot of people that tell me a lot of wacky stuff happens at Walmart, and I've never seen it.
Oh, there is a lot
You
of
should see
wacky
how some
stuff.
people dress that go in there.
No, I'm serious. Like, I never see anything wacky every time I go to a Walmart. Nothing happens. And half the time it's like, you're gonna have to show me proof of what happens in there.
Oh, there's some stuff that goes on in Walmart.
Hang out with Richmond passing on.
That's not a good idea. I'm not even trying to.
One way that they might set up something to try to, with a minimum salary, you may have a company that says, all right, we're gonna pay you this minimum salary. I think some of the car dealerships are this way now. We're gonna pay you this minimum salary, but if you sell so much and your commission is more than that, then we'll pay you that higher amount. So a lot of car dealerships might be that way now, and you just gotta find the ones, like I said, when I was at that high price car dealership, those guys were all over me. They wanted me to buy some $190,000 car, so, because they probably thinking, hey, this will set me for the whole month if I sell this thing. Make a commission off of that. You could get your minimum salary plus your percent of your sales. It just depends on the company, and that's something, as you get a job, you're gonna have to figure out, how am I getting paid here? I was a waiter for a very short time. I think I was there like 2 days. And I said, all right, this isn't for me. Because waiters and waitresses, a lot of, back then, my hourly pay was $2. You got paid $2 per hour, plus all your tips. All right?
You gotta get good tips.
Be nice and do your job.
Be if you know.
Mm-hmm.
Girls
Like a
always get
classical
tipped.
stripper, you know?
Like, enjoy that.
And he's so cute of you.
What'd you say?
Look at this
So-
stripper.
You could,
Liz.
any of these ways, you just got to find out when you go to look at the job. When I took that waiter job, it was because I didn't have another job at that point. I was out of work, and I had to find something. So I took the job, and then like a couple days later, I found a different job and said, all right, I can't handle getting paid $2 an hour, and I work through the lunch shift when there's nobody ever here. I don't make any money. Bob sells commercial real estate at 7.5% straight commission. Last week, his sales totaled $290,000. What is his gross pay? I'll tell you this, and I think I said this before, the guy that started that company the real estate company down there in Eden, a friend of mine, and when he started it, if you go around, you see his name on some of the stuff, you'll only see his name on something that's like, where they're selling like 5,000 acre or something. He doesn't take the little houses and stuff. You'll see everybody else's name on that. He only takes the big commission jobs or the big commission real estate. So, because when we were buying a house, I asked him, I said, hey, can you show me some houses? And he goes, no, I don't sell any of those. Those are my other people. All I sell are the things that are like 300,000, 400,000 when it's big money. So that way, all he's got to do is make 2 or 3 sales a year, and then he's done. He made enough money for that year. First of all, 7.5%. How am I going to write that as a decimal? 7.5. 7.5. Give me the decimal.
At the decimal, .075.
.075. Times that, please make sure you know how to change fractions to decimals and stuff. Times that by 290,000.
21,750.
Say it again.
21,750.
So how much money did that salesperson, that real estate agent make off of that sale? $21,750. That's for just that one sale. Now, that seems like a lot of money. Again, what are you gonna have to make sure you do if you make that $21,000 today? Make sure you do something with it, because if you don't do something with it, you go out and buy a brand new car today and then you don't sell anything for the rest of the year, you're out of luck. That's your assignment. I don't see you for a long time, so like, what, next Wednesday?
This is the last